Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of In Due Season Talks with Inger Lanier Taylor. I am Inger, and it is so good to have you join me tonight. You are going to be blessed. Your socks are going to be blessed off. I want to take a moment to welcome every single one of you who are joining me tonight. Hey, Lydia Rose, Sister Elizabeth, God bless you. Listen, I want you to take a couple of seconds and invite someone, you know, post it on your page. You're going to be blessed tonight. Listen, tonight I have the joy, I have the opportunity, I have the privilege to interview tonight Candice Turner, who is an amazing gift to the body of Christ and just an amazing gift. She's an author, she's a coach, she's an administrator, she's a preacher, she's a dance minister, she's an instructor. There are so many things that I can say about Candice tonight, but I'm going to let her come on and introduce herself. But while she's coming, go ahead, invite someone tonight. And for everyone who will be watching the replay, you want to stay on. This will probably be a 30-minute interview, but we had a little chat prior to coming on this evening, and I promise you, it may be more than tonight. It may be a continuation. We don't know what's going to happen. We're going to allow God to be God tonight, and we pray that you're encouraged. We're going to just bring her up now. Hello, my sister. How are you?
Hello, Inger. I am great. I am so good, so excited, honored to be here, already on fire, and I'm just like, let's do this, Lord. It's gonna be a good night. I'm ready for this.
It is. I have been so super excited about tonight for the whole couple of weeks. I just love how God just, allow God to lead and guide your every step, your every direction. We were talking a little early before we kind of get into it, is that we don't always know what God is doing in our lives.
Right.
Sometimes we have a preview, or we may have gotten a prophetic word or so, and in the meantime, that he doesn't give us the details. You see the picture, the end of a thing, but you don't know all of the stuff, the hills and the valleys that you're going to have to go through to get to where God has called you. And even in the meantime, he has stuff in between there. We said we're exceeding abundantly above all that you ask or thought. So some of this stuff will be surprise to you too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So tonight we want to go ahead, and I want to get started by the first thing is I was thinking about when it comes to being a multifaceted. Hey, Sister Lydia Rose, we see you. A multifaceted, multi-gifted individual who has, many gifts, not just naturally, but spiritually.
Right.
And there is an importance of prioritizing the seasons that we are in, prioritizing the assignments that God has given us, and
Right.
knowing when there is a shift, knowing when there is a shifting of it, and knowing that we got to be flexible and moving with God, intentionally focused. So talk to us about the fact. I mean, you are an author, you are a preacher, you can administrate some stuff, organize. You are dance instructor. You are, just so many beautiful things that you do. So talk to us about how you navigate those specific seasons, how you navigate that.
I love the conversation on being multifaceted because I haven't always, truth be told, I haven't always embraced this grace because I struggled years ago with, being multifaceted. And by struggling, I mean, I thought I had to find my niche in one lane in a sense, right? However, all the frustration that I would continue to encounter, it ultimately led me to seek the Lord in a way that was like, what is this? I feel like I'm supposed to do this. I've done this in this season, that in other season, but again, just not knowing early on the full plans of God. But as you continue to pursue and seek Him, and He unfolds the pieces and pieces, and you become the blueprint of what it really means to be graced as a multifaceted gifter or whatever, I really realized at that time that, you know what, Lord, there are many facets to you, and you're my creator, you're my daddy, you made me in your image. So instead of me trying to force what season I'm going to do what, I'm going to keep seeking you, committing all these plans, submitting all this to you. And as I seek you, you will order and guide my steps, and I will feel the grace and know I will be in a current. I'll flow with you. Instead of me trying to shut down different facets, I'll be in the current with you, and I will get the instruction as to, in this season, I need you here. Maybe 80% here, 20% there. Like, he speaks to me like that, and he gives me the strategy as to how to function and navigate it all. I mean, it's not for the weak, but it gives you the strength and the grace and the wisdom, the impartation, everything you need to do it in a way that ultimately reflects him and his purpose and his plan for that season. And it's not my own agenda. I don't want to. There may have been seasons of wanting to be comfortable with just dancing, but it's like, nah, he pulling on me because he knows what he invested in.
Right.
You know what I mean? Oh, no. This intercessor, no. You're an author, no. This coach, all this. And so, I'm like, okay, God, well, as you lead, I'll follow. Not my will, nevertheless, your will be done through. I belong to you, right? So, just being multifaceted, it really is a special grace, but you will be able to move with ease. And that's the thing. I experienced burnout years ago, but I'm not burnt. I haven't had that issue in over 2 years. There's a flow, there's a balance, there's quick, I would say, evidence of producing in a way that's multiplying and advancing his kingdom. And I'm not just being busy, it's production now, for his kingdom and not my agenda, So it does require, I would say, seeking the Lord and being sensitive to his movement for every season and his instructions so that you can move with grace and being multifaceted. There's a grace to it, a special grace to it. Absolutely. Everybody can't do it. And if you try to limit yourself, you're limiting God and what he invested inside of you. You can't do that. You get comfortable. You can't get his glory and comfortability. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, that's so good. That's so good. That's what I was thinking about when we were talking about that, is because with so many things, I do a lot of different stuff too. And so, you got a job, real estate agent, author, publisher, preacher. I mean, just lots of stuff. And right. So what I started doing, and I found that, like you said, there's a grace to it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking in terms of deadlines. Okay, but I gave the deadline to God.
There you go.
This is your deadline. This your stuff. This is who you created me to be.
Right.
And so when I get up in the morning, now I begin to say, okay, God, order my footsteps. I commit this day to you. Yes. You show me where I'm supposed to be in this moment, in this day. Forget the deadline. What am I supposed to be doing? And let me tell you something. When you talk about a grace, there is a grace. There is an ease that comes. It's like when I sit down, it's like bam, bam, bam. Do this, this. Project's done.
Right.
Over with.
I've witnessed that these last couple of weeks in you.
Oh, I mean, days before time.
Yeah.
I had a client say, wait a minute, you did what?
Yeah.
It's the grace of God. So what I would say, hey, or to everybody, anybody, Taylor J., if you are one who is, you're full of giftings, know God has assigned you multiple things, don't be anxious about it. He knows what he placed on the inside of you. He knows what it's going to take to pull it out of you. He knows that if you're leaning or looking to your own understanding, and some of us have experienced it at different times, you're going to, like you said, be burnt out, frustrated, aggravated, mad, irritated. Nothing's working right. I mean, everything is a mess. But when I was like, okay, God, I hear you. I hear you
Mhm.
saying this. I hear you saying, or drawing and pulling me and being
Yes,
pulled here and pulled there.
yes.
But this is your business.
This is your business.
So I need more grace in this season.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never had a time when I didn't know a thing that I
Mhm.
didn't still my spirit and
Mhm.
say, God, show me what to do. That He
Right.
didn't do it. That
And
He
he
didn't
didn't do
show
it.
it. I have never had a time that He
Well,
didn't show me.
that's because of your heart's posture, Inger. You're seeking Him. You're not trying to do it on your own. So as long as you acknowledge Him in all your ways,
Mhm.
okay, in all of your ways, you're acknowledging Him. He's first. You know that He knows the plan. He created it, not you.
Right.
And whenever you're acknowledging Him, of course, He's going to order your steps. He's going to show up. He's going to answer you. He's going to guide you, lead you, direct you, all those things. And you're right. That grace, I thought of something just a moment ago. The scripture that talks about whatever your task may be, your efforts in Colossians, serve, do it all unto the Lord,
Unto God. Hmm.
do it all unto God.
Hmm.
And so one of my prayers, just like you in the morning, how I begin the day, is Lord, bless my efforts and all that I have, that I'm required, that you ask of me to do for you today. Bless my efforts. Like, I need your hands to bless my efforts. Touch my mind, my heart, everything, to keep me sensitive to you, your doing, your voice, your speaking, your leading, your instructions concerning all these things, because it would get overwhelming. And then you're just doing stuff and restless, exhausted, you know, and you ain't even invited the Lord in your day. First
Right.
thing first, you left him out of His business.
Right. His business from the beginning. This is His business. Listen, oh God, I can relate to that so much because I am one. Oh Lord, thank you.
Yes, Lord.
Who would at night time,
Mhm.
who's head, or I know that you can relate, maybe not, because you already got that genius brain.
Yeah, that's
But
a genius.
at night, because I'm thinking about all of these things I'm doing or working on or whatever, and my
Uh-huh.
mind is constantly going, constantly going, constantly going. And so rest was evasive, sleep was evasive, just up
Yeah.
and all night, tossing, turning. But I have noticed now that you mentioned that, I have since noticed
Mm-hmm.
that, honey, like this morning, I slept so hard, I almost overslept. I mean, the rest is because this is your business, God.
Business. Mm-hmm.
Everything belongs to you. I'm giving it to you. Number
Mm-hmm.
one, I'm not letting nobody pressure me into doing anything. Now, your lack of preparation does not demote a or an emergency on my part.
That's so good.
No,
That's
no, no.
so good.
You waited to the last minute, sugar. And so I
Uh-huh.
have no problem with a whole sentence. I'm gonna tell you this whole sentence. It's two letters.
Okay.
No.
Period.
It's period. Taylor J. Period. No,
Period.
no. You waited to the last minute and you want
Yeah.
this in 2 weeks. It's not happening. And I
Yeah, because
understand.
that's yeah,
I understand if you need to move on. If
yeah.
you need to,
That's okay. But there's a standard you're upholding to His business like that. And when you're serving the Lord and you want to honor Him and do things in excellence, anyone who works with you, do any project with you, that you have to assist them up. You can't come down. You have to assist them up, because He's given all of us a purpose. So if the Lord has called them to do that book or whatever, and then you give them a deadline or whatever you do, even any deadlines, period. You're working with someone, it's a partnership. We're collaborating on His business. So I can't come down, because then you're going to be held accountable.
absolutely.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Listen, the next thing is to this I work in construction industry. So when we're talking about, I saw you say something about building with God.
Yes,
I mean,
Lord.
there's no other way to build, okay? But when you're building with God in our particular industry, say for instance, we want we're going to build something on a particular plot of land
Right.
because it looks beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
looks like the perfect location, right?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't know that you just can't because it looks like the perfect location. It doesn't mean that I can go and build a building on what
Mhm.
looks like the perfect location without first doing a perk test, without first having a civil engineer go out there and dig down into this soil to see
Oh,
if
that's
the
good.
soil is going to be able to hold a building on that plot of land.
Yeah, that's good. Solid foundation. Yeah,
If right, the foundation got to be right.
you got to
And
be
so,
right.
and oftentimes when it's not, they come back with this cylinder and it says, okay, you're going to have to dig out 5 feet of what they call unsuitable soils.
Ooh, that word unsuitable.
Honey, this is
Ooh.
either unsuitable soil. So when we get
Yeah.
ready to go to bid, there has to be a bid tabulation. And on that bid tab, it says, okay, what does it cost for to remove? We say remove and replace.
It costs
I
some.
got to remove 5 feet, but I got to put back 5 feet of good soil. Why? Because if your soil is contaminated,
Ooh, Lord, this is good, Anger. Yeah, this doesn't have to be a part two already.
it's a part two. We support you, y'all. If the soil is contaminated, that building is not going. First of all, you're not going to get past the inspection.
Inspection. So you got to go back and do the work all over again in the first place.
Listen, we've had that. We've had somebody put in some trash, right? They want to replace with trash. Some who want to
Ooh,
replace with trash, thinking that the inspector is not going to come and notice that this is not right. You got to dig it out again. So how many? Because this y'all, we still talking heart to heart now. Because a
still hard.
lot of us may be multi gifted. You got all these things going on. There's no order. There's no consistency. Your heart's posture is out of order, out of alignment with God. And what He's trying to do is to pull you into a place where I need you to talk about that. Pull you aside, pull you from out of your busyness, out of all these things that are you think are important. You are
Mhm,
allowing other people to tell you where you need to be. You're
mhm.
allowing others to say, "Oh yeah, you good at that, so this is what I need you to do." And then your foundation, your stuff is jacked up.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so,
You go from no longer building with God, capital G. That's what I heard when the Lord pulled me away the end of last year on that 60-day sabbatical, because He wanted to deal with me heart to heart. He wanted to, you know, get rid of all the noise and just deal with me heart to heart. And so, you can't build with God, capital G, if you fail to give him your heart so that he can, you said it, when they got to dig deep, it's beyond the surface level of matters. He knows what's in it. You can try to sweep some stuff under the rug all you want to, but just like how they have to go back and do the work, you still gonna have that same test. You still gonna have to go through those cycles, that trauma, all these things that will hinder you from properly building that solid foundation that's conducive for the building. And so that's so good. I'm just caught up. That's just so good to me. You have to surrender your heart before the Lord. Keep it there, right? You have to keep your heart before the Lord so that He can dig deep and deal with the ugly things, the things that are uncomfortable. You don't want to, but it's necessary for His great, perfect will, plan, and purpose for your life. For your life concerning His kingdom, not mine,
right.
not mine, not yours. So that's just so good, Ingrid. That's so
Listen,
good. And
it,
failure to do that, when you fail to surrender your heart to the Lord, it says, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. To see God is to experience God. So whatever you're building, it's for the people to experience God through what you're building. But if your heart's not pure, if it's cluttered with all this filthiness and you're in denial about it, He's gonna keep on trying to deal with you concerning the clout chasing, the clapping back, the unforgiveness, the bitterness, all these things that are just under there. They're there. You have all these messages, you're doing all this creating all these things without big God now because it's a little God, because you have an agenda, you have a plan, what works
Right.
for you. And now you have idols. You're idolizing success. You're idolizing building and creating and launching things. And you're so far out of alignment with God, capital G. Now you're idolizing all these desires. And
Right.
you're not being productive. You're not producing. You're not multiplying. You're not advancing his kingdom. So he's like, I'm trying to pull you away from all your business, everything you think you gotta be, you gotta do. I was building, getting ready to launch stuff. And he shut it down last year. Told me I need you 60 days. And it was such a beautiful place being pulled away with him. It wasn't, I mean, it always felt, it was a roller coaster ride. But overall, he got the glory in it, right? And that's for another story. But it was such a beautiful place that as the 60 days were coming to an end, I started having anxiety. Like, Lord, I don't want to come out of this place with you. I don't want to go back to what it was, because it was so good. I got very selfish about my time with the Lord. I didn't, and I'm okay with building in private. I'm okay with doing all the things that he will allow me to do in private, because it's not about being seen. At a point in time, you know, what you do in your private life, the public will see. But I was just really in love with that place, still am, of my private time with the Lord and keeping my heart before him, because he knows me better than I know myself. And the more you lie your heart down to him, you give it to him and allow him to deal with those things that will prevent you from building in a way that's pleasing in the sight of the Lord. I mean, without question, unhindered, I hurry up and get my heart to him. I love that time with the Lord. And then you see the quick results, and you're able to move expeditiously when he drops instructions to you and tell you to build, do this, do that. You know, you're in sync with him, and your obedience is on an extreme level with no hesitation. You just move with him in that grace. Now you're building him in grace.
Absolutely.
You know?
That is that is amazing, because you said you move with him and there's a grace. There, I mean, there should not, this end of the year, New Year's resolution, I forget. No, honey. It is a day by day, moment by moment, hour by hour, because you don't know. None of us know when we will step out of time into eternity.
Come on.
And I should not have the audacity to presume that when I close my eyes tonight, that I'm gonna wake up in the morning and I still got all this junk in my heart. But listen, I think it's Second Corinthians 9:27. I think it is, when Paul says, "Look, I don't want to be a castaway after I have preached, prayed, prophesied, and I myself be a castaway." See, let me say this. Let me calm down for a minute, because you can preach, you can pray, you can prophesy, and still go to hell.
Cast out demons. Lord, I did all this. I did all this in your name, Lord. And then he said, "Get away from me, you workers of iniquity. You break the law. I never knew you. You never spent no devoted time with me. You was doing all this in my name, but you never established a private, secret place with me, so me and you could be in sync, like just unhindered
and heart to heart."
Heart to heart. And then heart to heart is being in the rhythm with his heart. It's all about having the heart of the Father. How are you trying to build in his name, but your heart is so removed from reflecting the heart of our God? You're not compassionate. You don't deliver messages in love. You might have to rebuke in love. You might have to give warnings, prophetic words. You do it all in love, but failure to be heart to heart with God, it shows. It shows. But when you are in heart with him, it shows even more, Oh, man, that's good.
Yeah, oh Lord. Listen, the taller the building, because a lot of us have great giftings. Great giftings. But and look, we don't need to get caught up on it. And this is something else. I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna shift for a second. I want the glory over the gifting. I want the glory of God.
Yes, Lord.
Forget the gift. He's the giver of the gift. But let the glory of God be revealed in the earth. So first of all, sometimes we feel like we got seasons of distress. We don't know if you're coming or going. We got this thing going on, that thing going on, and you begin to question your life. I'm like, wait a minute, God, I know that I am putting my heart before you. I know that I'm doing all these things, but it seems like everything's going wrong. No, this is part of the excavation process.
Come
This is
on.
part of the submission process.
Yeah.
This is part of the process that says, wait a minute, girl, yes, daughter, I see you, but there's still some things in you that I need
Mhm.
to dig out, that I
Right.
need to uproot, that I
Yeah.
need to be able to replant so that when I bring you forth, what? I was tried. Look,
Hmm.
tried
Try.
in the
Test. True.
furnace
Come
of
on.
affliction.
Come
A
on.
fire is hot, hot. Fire
Ha.
is hell hot, right? But you said you were chosen
Yes,
in
Lord.
the furnace. So
Yes,
all of you
Lord.
who feel like you have been going through hell's kitchen and it seems hot and everything's turned upside down in your world and you can't figure out what God is doing. You know God called you to do A, B, C, and D. But right in this moment and in this season of your life, everything seems to be out of control. No, I need you to stop. I
Yeah.
need you to pause for a moment.
Hmm.
And I need you to allow God to do the work that needs to be done in
Hmm.
your heart and in your life. No, you haven't missed the mark. You ain't missed the mark. This is part of the process, and we
Yeah.
can't rush the process. There is an
Hmm.
appointed time, there is an appointed season for it all.
Right.
So, like I was saying, the taller the building, the deeper the
Lord.
excavation.
The deep calls out the deep. The taller, the deeper. That's so good.
I mean, you got a 12-story building, you can't have a foundation that's 3 inches.
That doesn't line up. That's that waiting for failure,
Mhm.
waiting to fall.
Yeah, one of
It
our
will not.
buildings,
It will not. It will not stand.
it will not.
It will
And
not
it
stand.
don't have to even have a strong wind to come by.
Ooh,
Oh, it's pretty.
it looks
Oh,
good.
it looks good. But honey, when the wind of life began to blow, there
Yeah.
is no root.
No roof.
There is no foundation. One of the buildings we were building, it took probably 4 or 5 months of
Mhm.
digging and then banging those pillars in the ground every day. 4 or 5 months constant, 8, 10 hours a day, and or before the foundation was poured.
Oh, that
How
level.
many of you tonight can say or relinquish? It seems like, look, I'm 56 years old, and I'm thinking at times the enemy had me thinking, girl, you is too old to be doing whatever God's saying.
Yeah.
Lies,
Try.
lies,
Yeah.
lies, lies without alibis. But there had to be a coming to God. This is what you called me to do. I need you to do the extra. This time, I'm not getting off the operating
This
table.
time.
This time, I will take the cut without the anesthesia. Do what you got to do
Do what you got to do
for the glory of God.
for the glory of God. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
So
ma'am.
tonight, talk about too when it comes to the yeses and the nos. I was thinking, I was like, I had to be. Most of us are content with the yeses of God. Yes, God. Do I? Yes, God. God. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes,
But
yes, yes.
you got to be in a position to receive the nos with
Yeah.
that same fervor, that same
Mhm.
commitment,
Yeah.
and not having to ask 12,000 questions as to why.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe that comes with, we're talking about heart to heart and heart's posture, but it all boils down to God, your will being done, your plans unfolding in my life. Okay. And with that, just as much as I desire, yes, your no could be a protection. It could be a just not right now. Because he knows. We don't know. We don't know what he's protecting us from. That contract, that agreement with this person. Nope, that's not it. It looks glamorous. It looks like they're the ones. They got the resources. But what if the Lord tells you, no, I have someone who don't even have half their resources. I need you to partner with them. But then that's where the favor is. Oh Lord. That's where the favor is. I will pick the favor over the dollar sign
Oh,
any day. You hear me?
any
Any
day.
day. The ridiculous favor will get you indoors that money can't keep you. Money might get you in there, but it won't keep you there. You see what I'm saying? And money can't out. Oh Lord, I'm not gonna go there. But it's the heart's posture. If you really desire for the Lord's will to be done in your life, then you are content with His nose, because you know He knows what's best for you. He knows the plans and thoughts for you, right? They're not to harm you. They're good. They're good for you. It's good for you. Your yeses, your no's are just as good as the yeses, Lord. I'll take it. You know, everyone talks about the Lord will open doors and no man can shut. Well, what if the Lord closed the door too?
And I thank Him. He closed the doors. And I said, God, thank you. Listen, there was some stuff that came through that looked like if somebody else had seen it, they'd be like, oh my God, you're getting to do with this person. Oh. There was something in me that was like, God, something. I said, get me out of this. Something is not right. And so shut the door. If it's shut the door. And when the door was shut, I was like, God, thank you.
Yes, Lord. You know, because you when you keep your heart before Him, we're talking about being sensitive to the things of the Lord. You're sensitive to His voice, His movement, whatever He's calling you to. You're sensitive enough to know if this is God or not. If I never understand the fullness why, just the fact that I could discern something is not right, it's not right with my spirit, and I know I'm in sync with the Lord. Oh, close that door. I dare not pursue it. Right? You have no idea if on the other side of that door there's contamination. Now you're going to be in partnership and agreement with this, and we desire a good name. Hello, can't just partner with anything.
No, absolutely not.
But the Lord knows, and it's okay. I don't have to know their business on the other side, but all I know is the Lord said no.
Right.
And I don't have to give anyone an explanation because the Lord said. And if you have a problem with it, take that up with the Lord.
There isn't even any reason to have to explain
at all. Who said that? Who said we had to?
Right. So this is so good. Look, y'all, I know all of you are on here tonight. Thank you for joining us heart to heart. Like we said a little earlier, we already know there's part 2. But tonight we want to come on to encourage every single one of you. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not despise seasons of where God is calling you to pull away to be with Him.
Yeah.
So He can unravel some things, so He can deal with your heart concerning some things. Now, everybody might be looking at your gift and saying, hey, come on, girl, come on, you can do, and you know God is saying, girl, sit down. And let me talk to you. Let me deal with you. Let me tell you about your nasty self. Let me tell you about your smart mouth. Let me tell you about your nasty attitude that don't nobody see. Come on, let's talk.
No. And let me tell you about them impure thoughts that you've been struggling with. That too. You can't leave that stuff out because He knows. He knows it all.
Right.
And he does that because He loves us and He desires for us to get to that place He's already prepared for us. And the only way for us to really get there, we got to give Him our heart. Let Him help us with our heart so we could be in sync with Him and fulfill those purposes.
I'm going to got one final scripture. I was thinking about 1 Peter 5:10 when it says, after you have suffered a while. Listen, time, we live in time. God created time for us to live in. Time means nothing to Him.
Yeah.
Right? But we live in time and space. And we always think that it is never going to end. It looks like this season. And I remember, but it's just like it was yesterday. It was a long season in my life that I just felt like, God, if you don't, I just don't feel like I'm going to make it. I mean, years of a season. Yeah. But He kept encouraging me and kept saying, when you got a word from God, you better hold on to that word. You hear me? I was driving down the street and He said, I will vindicate you. Honey, I dried my face up, put my lipstick back on, and said, I don't know when you're going to do it, but I have the word of the
of
Lord,
the
that
Lord.
God
Yeah.
will vindicate you. So he says in 1 Peter 5:10, after you have suffered a little while, the God of grace who
Woo.
has called you, it is the God of grace who
Yeah.
has called you
Yeah.
to his eternal glory in
Yes.
Christ.
Yeah.
And this is what it says, he himself.
He himself.
I'm not sending Candice to do it.
I don't need
I'm
you,
not
Inga.
sending Linda to do it.
Yeah.
He ain't coming to do it. I'm definitely not coming to do it. He
Definitely
said
not doing
he
it.
himself will
Yes, Lord.
restore.
Yeah.
He himself will confirm.
Yeah.
He himself will strengthen you.
Yeah.
He himself will establish you, or the
Establish
other
you.
version said, settle you.
Yes, Lord.
I mean, put you where you supposed to be
Supposed to be.
after. We don't want to suffer, but listen, the word says after you have suffered
Just
a
for a little
little
while.
while, it's only a season. And if
It's
you
only,
will allow God in this time of your life, it's only a season.
it's only a
It's
season.
only a moment. If you
Mhm.
will endure hardness as a good soldier, if
Mhm.
you will lay down your thoughts and say, God, not my will, but your will be done. God, I hurt, and he knows your heart. If you will just
Yeah.
say, God, I'm hurting here, but I know that if you will give me the strength that I
Yeah.
need, that
Mhm.
after this, come on, there's
Mhm.
something else.
After
After this,
this,
there will be glory.
there will be glory. Because guess what? For I consider the suffering of this
Right.
present
Oh,
day. Oh,
there you go.
are not to
I
be
know.
compared to the glory that will be revealed. Come on, that's his word. And if nothing else, that's why you have to stand on his word. His word is the only thing to stand. And if his word is alive and active in your life, you don't need anything else. For his word is life. His word gives you everything you need. So yeah, I could suffer. I would much rather suffer with God than to suffer without him.
Oh, my Lord.
You
Yeah,
know,
this season, suffer well.
suffer well.
Suffer
Yeah.
well.
It's just for a moment, it's just for a little bit. It's just for a little bit. Because even when the Lord restores, like he promises he will, it will be as if it never happened.
Mighty God. Hey, listen, y'all. Well, I said about 30 minutes. It's 7:38.
Okay.
We are so excited and so grateful that you have taken time out of your evening to come and sit with us
Yeah.
and hear what's on the Lord's heart. I really believe it's on the Lord's heart to heart.
Heart to heart.
He is calling some of you. He is warning some of you. He is saying to you, come away with me. He misses you.
Oh,
He misses you. He misses that time. And don't go to him with your list of stuff. You hear
yeah.
me? Don't go with your list. And it's okay that we got prayer lists. I understand that.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need to just get up in the morning. Sometimes I just get up
Yeah.
and go and get my coffee and just sit. I don't
Sitting,
have no list. I ain't saying nothing. I'm just sitting.
waiting for that lovely date with him, right? So he can ravish you, so he can captivate you, so he can speak to you. You
That's
know,
right.
but and then when you do speak, you want to speak well of him. You want to, give him the fruit of your lips. You want to magnify him. You want to give him glory. Just tell him how good he is. And it's not always just asking for something. God, I'm here
Right.
to just because I love you. You
Right.
call me your own, and I love the time that we get to spend together. I adore you. And
Who
it's in
And see, when you just like we have kids that you got kids that want something, they call when they want something, and that's why they calling. And then you got the kids that just come and love on you and don't call you because they don't want nothing. Honey, you will move. I remember getting out the bed with the flu when my little kids was because one of he would just kiss all over you all the time. He didn't want nothing. He just wanted to be close to you. Honey, I had the flu, thought I was about to die, but he asked for some pancakes and sugar mama got up and made them
Mom, good.
pancakes.
That's
So
good.
don't
Oh,
you
that's
think
good.
for a moment that God has forgotten you in this season. He
Yeah.
has not forgotten you. It's part of the process. So listen, I'm going to step away and let Candice have some final words. When we come back, I'm going to give you some information on how to get in contact with her. If you want she's a coach, she's an author, she's all kinds of stuff that we'll be able to leave that information with you. I'm going to step away and let her uh, do what she needs to do. If you want to pray, if you want to give some final words of encouragement,
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I will give final words of encouragement for those of you who are here and who will catch the replay. We have been flowing with the Lord. There's so much that we could share and pour into you. But for tonight, it was definitely His plan for us to just speak about building with God and really taking your heart to the Lord, being intentional about yielding and surrendering all of your thoughts, your plans, your ideas, committing all of those things to the Lord, because ultimately, according to Proverbs, it's His purposes. It is His plans that will prevail, that will be established. And so, if for those of you who are building, who are multifaceted, maybe you are, maybe you're not, whatever your grace is, build with the Lord. And in order to properly build with the Lord, you have to be in sync with Him heart to heart. So I would say, as one, I know without a doubt, the Lord has commissioned me to charge of people that will truly live out a devoted lifestyle of consecration. I'm talking about pulling away, not trying to be relevant like the world. I really desire to have the reverential fear of the Lord restored. You know, all these things. I want the cross over the cloud. I don't care about my name being known. He's going to make my name great anyway. He promised that, right? At the end of the day, I just want to please the Lord. I just want to be in sync with the Lord. I just want to do what the Lord would have me to do and be who He called me to be, right? And I want to do all these things so that He can get the glory in and through my life, so that I could be a reflection of His heart. So the rhythm of my heart is in sync with Him, okay? So if you feel an urge for the Lord, where the Lord is pulling you away and He's asking you to give up some things. He's asking you to be more intentional with setting aside a certain amount of time with Him, whatever that looks like. It may not look like 60 days like mine was at the end of the year. It may be 2 years. The question is, will you yield and surrender your heart and take advantage of that time with the Lord? Will you be devoted? Will you be committed to the Lord and having Him in His proper place in your life, right? We talk about serving the Lord and being in right standings with the Lord so that He could get the glory out of our lives, but we fail to really spend more time with Him so that He could deal with us about us, and then He could show us what it is He's requiring of us in order to be in sync with it. We don't want to build with the little guys and all the idols. We don't want to compromise or compare ourselves to what other people in this world are doing. I just want to do what the Lord called and told me to do. I will be the peculiar one. I will be the one. 99, 100 of y'all could be doing X, Y, Z, but this is what the Lord has specifically required and instructed me to do right now. And for that, I will obey. For that, I will spend time with the Lord, more time with the Lord. I could give up social media. I won't miss a dime. I could do X, Y, Z because I'm doing it with the Lord. Okay. So I would say have those heart checks. Have those heart checks with the Lord. Allow Him, you think about going to the hospital, emergency room, whatever the case may be, and you get your heart checked, EKG, and all those things. It is to monitor. Are there problems? Are there issues there within the heart that has to, be healed, right? And so God is the ultimate doctor. Allow Him to heal your heart. Allow Him to deal with those things, not just surface level things. Okay, I'm talking about deep rooted things, so that like Inger shared about having to dig deep so you can have the proper soil in order to build a solid foundation that will stand, nothing that will easily fall. Okay, we're kingdom citizens, kingdom builders. Let's build in a way that reflects God. Okay, where it will be undeniable. I'm able to build in a way where it pleases the Lord, right? It's going to stand. It will produce great measures. You won't be able to deny the hand of the Lord is upon my life. You will not be able to deny the favor of the Lord. Come on, Joseph. You could throw me in the pit. You could put me in prison. You could do all those. You will not be able to deny that I serve the Lord. I have the fear of the Lord. I desire to be integral. I will not compromise. I will build with the Lord. I will do what the Lord called me. I might cry sometimes. I might weep. I might get exhausted. But at the end of the day, I know that building with the Lord, He's going to strengthen me in a proper time. He will restore me. I might suffer for a little while. I might be persecuted. It's okay. I do know this, that the suffering of this present day will not be compared. Okay. So I will encourage you all to go before the Lord and ask Him, what is it are you requiring of me, so that you can have my ear and your voice will be amplified in my life, right? What are you requiring me to give up in this season? that I will be removed from my own will, my own agenda, so that your plan, your perfect plan, your perfect will be established in my life, that your word will be alive and active in my life, that I will help disciple others, that I will not just go to church, but I will be the church, Father. However ministry looks for you, the marketplace looks for you. Are you okay and secure your identity that you look a little different? You move a little different. The business plan he's giving you is a little different. You ain't ever seen it you've never seen it done that way before. Okay? I'm just trying to throw a little bit out there for y'all to really do a heart check, because if you really want to produce, we talk about success after success. There's no such thing of success if you fail to build with God, capital G. So let him deal with all the little idols, all the unresolved matters of the heart and issues. Let him deal with it. And he does this because he loves us, y'all. It's because of his love. So that's what I will share with y'all today for the final words. I hope you grab enough golden liquid nuggets and words of wisdom. I know without a doubt that the Lord has highlighted something for you and met you right where you are in order to get you to the place that he requires of you and he desires for you at this time of your life.
All right. Thank you so much. Listen, everybody, that is our time tonight. I can tell you this, we'll be back. You'll see when. We don't know when yet, but we'll be back. This was we were initially talking, I was chatting, I was like, I don't know, but God is doing something. I don't know what he's doing. He's doing something.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave when we check off. Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna pull up Candice's contact information. If you need to get in touch with her, you can do so. God bless every single one of you, and good night.